It's early Wednesday morning. I have to be quiet because everybody's still asleep. Everybody except me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't be asking me why I'm awake at 5-ish in the morning. The antibiotics are affecting me to the point that I am so tired that I sleep for like 12 hours on average. I mentioned this to my sister-in-law, and she very kindly offered me some shelf-stable probiotics that she had just sitting around there are still good. So I started taking those yesterday, and hopefully that helps me. So far, I think that they have. I've gotten some of my appetite back. I wasn't eating very much at all the past 5 days. Things are okay. It's just I'm just dealing with the antibiotics, and thankfully I haven't been depressed. I've been taking good enough care of myself every day that I don't get in a low kind of mood, like a depressed mood. I just don't have a lot of physical energy or emotional energy is the problem. Wow. I need a haircut so bad. I haven't done it because I'm afraid that I'll chop off most of it, and it's been a long time since my hair was really short, so I have to be careful. I've been known in the past to cut it myself when I'm really frustrated about something. Then I'd have to go to the barber and get it fixed. My best friend loves it when my hair is short, so it's not like it's a bad thing if I cut my hair erratically short. What else has been going on? Oh, when I would get upset and frustrated by things, I'd go do work outside, and one of the things that I was doing the past couple months is shoveling sand into the old pipe where the pump attached to another pipe was down below the surface to get water, but my parents drilled a whole entirely new well and pipe and built a new pump house and all that, so having an old hole in the ground nearby in a non-enclosed space was dangerous. If any of you were alive when the incident with baby Jessica happened, I think it was late 1980s, I remember watching the news on TV, and the TV channels interrupted their normal programming to broadcast live what was happening with the rescue of baby Jessica. She had fallen down an uncovered hole in the ground where a pipe had been that was formerly in use had been abandoned and just, covered with like a rock or something. But the covering had come loose and she had fallen into it, and she fell into it in such an awkward way that I think she either dislocated a shoulder or broke an arm and got really bruised up. She slipped down so far that it is a miracle that anybody figured out that's where she was. Because I don't remember if they heard her or what, but they had to drill another hole parallel to the hole that she'd fallen down, and I don't think at the time cameras were small enough to send down into the hole, but they enacted a rescue mission. So, long story short, baby Jessica survived. They eventually got her back up, but you can imagine how tense everybody was on the edge of their seats watching this reality happen, and parents seeing some of their fears made real. And my dad, because of that, was filling the old hole in the ground with sand, and I finished the job. I got it full all the way to the top, and then I didn't tell my parents. Eventually I told my mom, because I said, I've been trying to get Dad to go down to see what I did without telling him that I finished the job. So I was goading him on. I said to my dad, so I've been shoveling a lot of sand. You'd better get on that. You better start catching up with me. You know, you're falling way behind. Because he has such a work ethic, it's easy to tease him about it. His to-do list is like infinitesimally long, like he's never done. He's never finished with his work. So he eventually, this past week, saw what I had done. And he thanked me for it, and I said, I got so much muscle out of doing that job. I'm stronger now for it. And he said, I will hire you to protect me with those muscles you gained. Alright, I'm a bodyguard now. I've also been watching trailers. Like, I didn't know that in 2012, over in the UK, they released another remake of Great Expectations. I haven't read the book. I remember trying to read it when I was at my mother's house. When I was an older teenager, I tried to read it and I just couldn't get into it. But watching the new trailer for the one that was made in 2012 and is being released this month in the US on the 8th, I really liked that trailer, and I think I might actually watch that movie. It's strange. I used to devour books. Like, from the time that my parents started reading books to me, I just loved them so much. And my older brothers would recommend books to me, like Ender's Game or Jurassic Park. We read all the Jurassic Park books. Dean Koontz books. I love his book. The first one I read was, I can't remember if it was Watchers or Lightning, but I borrowed those from my brother. Oh, I love those books. And the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, borrowed those from my brother. 400-page novels before I was even a teenager. Because back then my imagination was so much more engaged and vivid and needed like a structure to attach itself to. It needed like an outlet. So fictional books were that for me. But the older that I got, the less that I needed that. And the more interested I was in tangible things, applicable knowledge, learning about things of substance and physicality and hands-on things, how things work and operate and function. I was more interested in that, like logical stuff, biological stuff, and some of it philosophical. So I grew out of needing to read anywhere between 200-page, 300-page, 400-page, sometimes 500-page novels to satiate my curious imagination and give it form in my mind. It was just sometime in my teens that I didn't have enough time really to do that anymore. I was spending my time studying to do well on tests, and I was doing my homework, and when I was a senior, I had after-school activities, extracurricular stuff that was going on, and I also had to wake up early for that in the summer for training for cross-country season, cross-country running, which was cool, to get up and go to practice twice a day. I should have joined the cross-country team sooner than I did. I improved a lot. Like, I went from a 34-ish 3-mile time down to 24 and a half. oh, I forgot. Someone asked me a question in a comment, and it was, do I have friends? Yeah, I do. They live in other states, though. There's a friend who, I don't think she'll mind if I mention her to you. Her name is Erin. In fact, when I started interacting with her the first several times, I was saying her name incorrectly. Because I had a friend whose name was pronounced the way that I was saying Erin's name, and she's so nice and accommodating, she didn't tell me. I had to learn the hard way when our mutual friend told me, actually, this is her name. I think you're pronouncing it wrong, just because of the way it's spelled. She's my study buddy. She calls me her geek out partner or geek out buddy. I call her my study buddy. She lives in Oregon, actually, in northeast Portland, which is cool because she's not too far away from the airport. I also have a friend who, I hope you don't mind, one of her nicknames is Krista, and she comments on my videos under the name of Crystal. Again, those are just nicknames. And I've known her for a very long time. And I have another friend who lives in Florida and has commented on my videos. I don't know if you want me to say your name, so I won't. And I've known him not quite as long as I've known Krista. But they're not living nearby. They're real-life friends who I keep in contact with over the internet, who at one point I have spent time with. Or several times spent times with them. They're fun people, and they're smart people, and they're affectionate people, and they're cool people. Yeah. I wouldn't say I've had friends other than them who I've been close to, or really gotten to know them and appreciate them for who they are, the way that I have those three people. There are people from my childhood that, I wish I were in contact with, but, people's lives are different. They go in different directions, and people have different priorities and motivations and lifestyles, and it's just, it wouldn't be realistic to like, feel bad about that. It's just life, Some friends, if you've ever heard the quote, a reason, a season, or a lifetime, some friends you meet and it's for a particular purpose, and then they're not in your life anymore. A season, maybe you get to meet someone because of like a project that you're doing, for work, or you go on a trip somewhere. Or there's just a critical period in your life when you needed the influence of a particular person to help you through that, and that's, a season. And some friends you keep for life. A reason, a season, or a lifetime, and no matter how far away they are, or the time that passes between when you get to be with each other, they're your friends, always. And I have friends like that, where when you're with them, the time has passed, but you can always pick right up where you left off. And there's no sense of emotional distance. There's no sense of, alienation, just because the people want to feel close. And they don't let these silly constructs like distance and time interfere with that closeness. I finally read the manga for Revolutionary Girl Utena, which I'm glad that I did, because it's not the same as the anime. The 39 episode anime is different from the manga. I like that. I like when you can appreciate derivative works based on an original, and they don't take everything from the original. There's still something there for people to discover if they've only seen one but not the other, and eventually want to see, the others. Except the anime fleshes out the characters a lot better. The side characters and the minor characters, the supporting cast. It fleshes them out, it gives them backstory. Because Revolutionary Girl Utena was worked on by some of the same people who made Sailor Moon explains why there are reused animation clips. Like every time there's a sword duel in Revolutionary Girl Utena, you're gonna see the same thing. There's a transformation kind of sequence with the main character and the Rose Bride, and stairway going up to the dueling arena, which also is different in the manga. The design is different. The explanation for the antagonist in the manga, it makes more sense to me, and in the anime they do something with the Rose Bride that is a bit more, I don't know how to say this without spoiling it. They make that character, they allude to the darkness of that character more directly, as if there's more of a sinister underlying motivation there, which if you read the manga, it's taken in a different direction. The manga isn't as drawn out and repetitive as the anime, because you have to get used to the duels and the reused footage in the anime when you're watching it, and try not to fast forward and skip it. But there's also more comedy and some filler episodes where you get to know a character that is just like barely mentioned in the manga. But I really enjoyed reading it. There are groups who do scanlations online, and they're pretty old, because the manga for Revolutionary Girl Utena was published in 1996. So I bet if I had read it at that time, which in America, I don't know when we were able to read it here in America. That was when it was published in Japan. But I was 15 at the time. I probably would have really enjoyed it. In order to finish Revolutionary Girl Utena anime, and I was stuck on episode 5, I had to spoil myself, which is sad. It's like, if I know where something is going, and in my opinion it's going to a cool place, then I want to stick with it. But if they can't hook me in enough episodes, I just don't give it another thought, and I miss out on things. People have told me this before when I've dropped a series. They're like, if you just kept watching it, you would have realized how badass it is. It's a flaw of mine. I want to be teased a little bit more obviously sooner on, and know that I'm sticking with something that I'm actually going to appreciate on an intellectual level, an emotional level, character development level, a plot twist level, metaphorical or allegorical level. If all I'm feeling is that something has one dimension, it's just very difficult for me to get into. I need depth. I need complications. I need renewed perspective of character. Nonetheless, I really enjoyed it when I was watching the anime this summer. It's harder for me to get into graphic novels or comic books or manga. I'm not sure why. There has to be a really compelling personal story in it for me to relate to. It was that way with Fushigi Yugi, where for a long time I knew about the existence of the series, but I just didn't watch it because I got the clear impression that it just wasn't for me. It's for a younger demographic. And when I finally did watch it, I realized, oh, I can connect with this on an emotional level over things that I never really resolved from a younger age, from a younger time in my life. So you never know what you might find if you go exploring something that seemed to you initially just wouldn't hold your interest. You could really find some gems, some personal self-discovery there. The same thing happened with Revolutionary Girl Utena, where I wanted to watch it for a side story that isn't even in the main manga, that I haven't even finished reading the chapter, I can't remember, but there's 27 chapters to RGU, and at the end they give you some side story. That was why I initially watched the anime, was to see these characters, Juri and Ruka. and it was an okay side story. But it's funny that what initially gained my interest in the show is not what I really love about the show. And again, I connected with it on a personal level based on things that I've actually gone through in my life, people that I still know to this day. So, wow, I must be feeling better because otherwise I wouldn't have talked for this long.